Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Live Recruiting Show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3 Dadgummit. Today is, what is today? Thursday, April the 24th for you. It is Wednesday evening, April 23rd for us. Keep that in mind moving forward with any todays, tomorrows, or yesterdays. We are prone to letting those slip. So keep your days straight. We'll try to help you out do that. But got a fantastic show for you tonight. I want to catch everybody up on the week's news from the transfer portal, some comings, some goings, some visits. We're going to talk all about that. We're going to take a couple of questions from the corner. Dish out some how about you by George, and here to do it with me as they always are 100% of the time when they're here. Mr. Cole Pinkston, Sir Alan Head. How about you, boys?
How about you?
How about you, everybody? Second podcast of the day for me, man. I'm on a roll right now. Yeah, me and Justin hit the basketball recruiting tip.
That was a great show. Today. That's right. I forgot. Oh, yeah. See, Alan has done said today.
There it is.
You got me. You got me already.
It never fails. Within the first 2 minutes, it's usually me. Like, yeah, it's afternoon.
I needed to do that, and I needed you to call me J-Head directly thereafter, man. We could be right on for this show.
When I hosted a week ago, Jeffrey, I must have done it 100 times.
Yeah, it happens, dude.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It happens, man. We're gonna talk some transfer portal. Hey, before we do, I want to bring back in one of our favorite sponsors of the show, Rowback. As you know, I always love to sport my Rowback quarter zip. If you're not familiar with Rowback, there is only one way to describe Rowback: best fit, best feel. For those who aren't familiar with Rowback, they are completely changing the game with their incredibly comfortable activewear. Rowback has released so many items within their new licensed game day collection, and it's our favorite. It really is. I'm not just reading that. I'm telling you, it's my favorite. This stuff is nice. Novel polo designs. You've seen me wearing the Aubie polo. I think Cole was rocking it a couple times as well. Clean hoodie. They've got some Q-zips. This is what I'm rocking tonight. Favorite schools, definitely worth checking out. Rowback's everyday shorts or the Delta Performance pants are the perfect pairing as well. They're both super comfortable, have an elastic waistband, and great fabric that is made to have the appearance of a nice short look, but the comfort for a day on the move. Rowback has also been proudly sponsoring and leading the NIL charge. Have signed partnerships with several college football stars, past and present, and are becoming the go-to brand for college athletes across the country, just like me and Cole. Alan's not there yet, but he's still a welcome. But hey, a special promotion. Use the promo code Auburn20. AUBURN20 on rowback.com for a generous 20% off. All new customers through the end. I'm not even going to say the end of the week, dude. It's always with our customers, dude. Go get you some 20% off of Rowback. Rowback.com. Use Auburn20. That's spelled RHOBACK.com. 20% off all performance polos, shorts, and more with code Auburn20. Woo-wee! Let me some Rowback.
A big dog. Nobody does a read like you, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I miss you just for that. Like it. I mean, look, it makes the show when you're here, but when I hear that ad read come through,
just hits different, don't it?
It does, man. It does.
Compete. I just can't compete with that.
Well, you don't even want me trying to drive the show, okay?
Oh, me. All right, fellas. Big news of the past few days. Auburn has picked up 4 commitments from the transfer portal. Started off with Jay Hardy, getting him back on campus. He obviously transferred to Liberty to play under Hugh Freeze. No, I think Hugh was not coached there yet. Is that correct? He was.
He was.
He was there. Yeah,
he was already there.
So it was Freeze. Vontrell was there as a GA when he recruited him. Now he was gone by the time season came around, but helped recruit Jay there. Jeremy Garrett, Josh Alders.
Okay,
all those guys were there. Dom Stasinski was also there. Jay told us all this when we were in the lobby with him, and he was just chatting with us. And he was like, when I asked him, I was like, well, you know, why? This is before he chose Auburn. He's like, why would it? If you did Auburn again, why? He goes, Coach Freeze.
Oh,
that's it.
Yeah. And the fit. I mean, I think obviously that's probably the best part of this to me is that this staff knows who Jay Hardy is as a person, because you're bringing him into a room with a lot of young players. And I think the last thing that you would want to do is somebody that would be, you know, counter to the culture that you're trying to instill within your program. Jay understands it. He wants to be a part of it. He's going to probably be a really good teammate if I had to guess. And he's going to have some value there as a guy that can give you some snaps at both the nose and the 3-tech. And what we saw last year is while they had 5 guys they trusted, I don't think they were quite, and you guys know this better than me because you talked to them, they weren't quite as deep as they wanted to be. Not as much functional depth as they would have liked. They would have liked to have spread snaps a little bit more and had guys go, a bunch of guys go at 200-plus snaps for the season and just give me everything you got for 15 to 20 snaps. That's what I want. I don't want somebody playing upwards of 45, 50 snaps. I want consistency of shuffling guys through and getting high-caliber play and not burning everybody out.
Another defensive lineman Auburn picked up from the transfer portal, James Ash from Florida A&M, I believe, Florida A&M. What I like about and I'll go ahead and name, you got James Ash, you got the linebacker Caleb Wheatland from Maryland, and then RaySean Pleasant was Wednesday night. He committed to Auburn. He is the only one who has multiple years of eligibility, if I'm not mistaken. RaySean Pleasant has 2. James Ash has 1. Jay Hardy has 1. Caleb Wheatland has 1. But guys, sticking with the defense line, Jay Hardy, and then you add James Ash. Cole, what do you think about James Ash?
Man, I was really impressed just talking to him. Number one, I thought he's taking it seriously. He's wanting to move up. You know what I'm saying? And I thought, man, when he shook my hand, his hand like went up my forearm. I'm like, okay. I think this guy's serious. And then I turn on the tape. Alan, I'm sure you've watched some of him.
Yeah,
I know Zach. Zach knows a lot about him. Covering the FCS, said he's one of the better D linemen out there. And watching his tape against Miami, there's several plays where he's bench pressing the opposing offensive lineman. Okay, he wasn't consistent in a game like that, but you see where he's at, right? You see that he's got some talent. You see that he's got some strength and power. And man, I think he's going to be pushing Malik Blockton a little bit.
Okay. But James Ash, Cole thinks he is capable of pushing Malik Blockton.
I would agree with Cole on that from what little bit I've been able to watch. And I thought Zach put a really good comp out there for people, especially those in the Auburn sphere. They're going to kind of remember this name. But Andrew Williams, a guy taller maybe than you would like out of your defensive lineman, a guy that needs to learn to play with better leverage, but very strong, very physical against the run, a capable pass rusher. And if he puts it all together, he absolutely can push Malik Blockton, in my opinion. You see the strength on tape and his ability to kind of use those strong hands and rip when he needs to separate himself from an offensive lineman. As Cole put it, though, he's not consistent, and that's what you want to see. You see the flashes, but you don't see the consistency, and that's probably what's kept him from maybe making that move to the Power 5 level before now. But a very intriguing prospect, a guy that I know the coaching staff, like, immediately I got a text saying, hey, the coaches are high on this kid.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it was
– as soon as he walked in, it was pretty laid back day. I'll put it that way. I could tell they were going, okay, that's what you want him to look like.
The hoof he passed. The hoof test he passed.
He passed. I think Alan's frozen.
Is he? Oh,
he's back. He's back. But yeah, no, I like James Ash. And Zach, feel free, man, to pop in. And Andrew Williams, man, am I crazy for saying that Andrew Williams might be a starter on this defensive line?
No, I don't think you're crazy.
He wasn't a starter on the defensive
line.
Blink,
Alan, if you agree.
He's contemplating. He's like,
you know what I noticed, Cole? And let's talk about Caleb Wheatland, because I thought that I like this kid. Now, I did watch him a little bit.
Yep.
And DJ Durkin is very familiar with this kid. He's got 1 year of eligibility. What's he going to bring to the table?
Man, the main thing I wanted to do was try to differentiate him because a lot of people, when they see a Maryland linebacker transfer, they're now thinking of Fanaje Gote, right? Mm-hmm. That came in last year. There's a huge difference, first of all.
Forgot all about him.
Right. Well, he didn't play. He came in at 2 weeks to go until fall camp started. I mean, it was a last-minute deal. This is different. I think DJ Durkin went out and handpicked this guy. He knows who he is. Obviously, he's got all connections with Maryland. I think he's a box linebacker. But can definitely play. I thought he did pretty much everything for Maryland. Kind of like your Eugene Asante was for Auburn, just a jack of all trades, blitzing, coverage, plays in the box when needed. I think that's what you're going to get from him, and I think he's pretty good at it at all phases. Not great in any of them. Pretty strong blitzer, very good in coverage. I'll say that. Very good in coverage.
Caleb Wheatland, Alan, see what we were talking about.
Yeah, the interesting thing to me is, can he be a true Mike for you, Cole? That's what you can't tell on tape right now. I think predominantly he lined up as a weak side linebacker, but he's got good size. I mean, he's almost 230 pounds right now, somebody that was handpicked by this staff. And I'm going to be interested to see, can he push Robert Woodyard at that position? Because I think it's right now it's Rob's spot. But you're talking about bringing in somebody that is a veteran that has been in big-time games in the Big Ten, not the SEC, but Big Ten is great football, had more production. So he's not somebody that's going to be intimidated by the moment. And I think if you're trying to put a piece in that room that makes sense, you want to bring somebody that when younger guys, extremely talented. I mean, you think about Elijah Melendez, talent through the roof, right?
Yeah.
But he's never played in Jordan-Hare Stadium. He's never played in front of 80K. This is a kid that's played in those environments. And so when he gets stumped on a coverage or he gets stumped, on a run concept that he doesn't exactly understand, Wheatland is going to be able to say, hey, young fella, this is exactly how you should handle it. This is what I've seen in the past. And he should be able to really kind of help and play the role. We had a young man that came in this time last year from Duke in Dorian Mausi, who absolutely was able to be that senior leader in the room. And I think this is what you're hoping for. If you can get Dorian Mausi type production out of Caleb Wheatland, buddy, you have hit an absolute home run. And I think that's the prototype that they went for. And we'll just kind of see how it all shakes out.
Speaking of Mausi, real quick, watching his film from Duke, he had one good game, but the others, I was just not super impressed. I just thought he wasn't super physical. Certain things I didn't love about Dorian Mausi. When he gets to Auburn, he looks like a different player, man. In DJ Durkin's system, I think there's something to that. I think that he demands a different level of intensity out of those guys. He played with that intensity. He got better at Auburn, in my opinion.
I agree. And I give Josh a lot of credit. That was his eval. And I thought he did a solid job because both you and I were critical of Dorian Mausi's physicality coming into Auburn. I'm not going to shy away from that now.
Yeah.
I said it a year ago, but you're right. He was a different player when he got here. And you combine probably his coverage ability, his savviness as a veteran leader, somebody that had played in those kind of environments before. It was just a catalyst for a defense that took a really good step forward. I mean, I think Ron Roberts had them in total defense around the 50s, mid-50s, maybe low 60s, and they jumped all the way into the 30s from a total defense perspective. I mean, almost 30 spots from where Ron had them. And I thought Ron did a good job his first season.
Yeah,
so
he did.
It'll be interesting to see how Caleb Wheatland, fits into this defense. Again, it's a big summer for Robert Woodyard. Like, if now's the time, because to me, if Robert Woodyard doesn't take that step forward in being pushed by Caleb Wheatland, I think Elijah Melendez is going to be too hard to keep off the field. I really do. I think he's a kid that's going to play sooner rather than later. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one all shakes out.
The most recent addition to the portal class from this 2025 portal class was Wednesday night, right before we started recording here tonight. RaySean Pleasant, cornerback from Tulane. He's not just a cornerback. I think Auburn could utilize him as special teams as well. If I'm not mistaken, Zach, he was an All-American kick returner at Tulane.
Yes.
3 touchdowns this year as a kick returner.
He has 2 years of eligibility.
He also had a pick 6 that went for 100 yards.
So he's got some gas.
Yeah,
big time.
He's got some turbo going on there for sure. I haven't watched all his coverage snaps or anything like that. I've just seen some of the highlights where he took the kick back. Dude has got speed. I mean, first, you already got Malcolm Simmons and Eric Singleton probably going to be your kick returners, punt returners. You add this guy in the mix, and that's a weapon,
I think you take Eric Singleton out of returning kicks and you let this kid return kicks. I'm not getting Eric Singleton dinged up on a kick return, man.
Where do y'all see Pleasant fitting in exactly? That's what I'm trying to figure out. And as I'm looking at this, I mean, obviously, it does not hurt to have 5 DBs or 5 corners.
And you just lost what? You lost J.C. Hart. You lost Tyler Scott. You lost Terrence Love in the back.
Yeah, there's one more. I'm forgetting. But I mean, they're not super deep at corner, but the top 5 now, adding Pleasant in, are strong.
Well, and this is what I would
Oh,
say.
I forgot about Strader.
Yep. So you've got Kay and Lee, who I think, if I'm being honest, his intentions are to have a big junior season and to turn pro. That is, when I've asked around, that's what I've heard. And directly behind him, you have Blake Woodby. Well, that's to me where Pleasant slots in, right? Because you're hedging your bets that, okay, I love Blake Woodby. I think he's going to be a player. But what happens if he gets into the season and, he's not exactly ready for the moment just yet? Well, now you have a really, really nice insurance piece in RaySean Pleasant, who is a proven commodity at probably the top G5 conference. He plays in the American Conference, good competition. I think a lot of John Summerall, they run a sophisticated defense on that side. So he's not going to be lost conceptually speaking from what DJ Durkin's going to want to do. I think they employ a lot of match coverage, as does DJ. So he'll be speaking similar language when he comes in. And that's what you worry about with the DB. Do they get caught up in verbiage differences, or are they able to go out there and turn loose and play because they have a high football IQ? And when you watch this kid on tape, he's got a high football IQ to go along with a lot of speed. I think he's going to still need to continue to add size to play in the SEC, but you can't teach what that kid can do on tape. And I don't know if he's 4.3 or not, but he looks it. I mean, watch him on that 100-yard interception return down, and he's just leaving guys.
He's fast. He's very fast. Is it possible? Because I've been saying this for a while, and I feel like I'm the only one in the world with this opinion. But Kay and Lee, I like him at corner. I think he's a good corner, but man, I really think he would make an excellent safety or nickel. Do we see that? I don't know. I don't know if that would happen now that you have this guy to slot in. He's a 2-year guy, right? Isn't that what you said?
He is. He's a 2-year guy.
I mean, could you see? Does this allow you to maybe put Kay and Lee in the slot, playing nickel a lot more?
Who would be there if he wasn't?
Champ Anthony.
Champ and
Kinsley.
Kinsley Faustin. Yeah.
You got options now, man. I think you could mix and match a little bit with this edition. It was when we talked about the top positions, nobody said corner.
No.
But
except for Hugh Freeze, who said he would never turn down a good cover guy, right? Me and you talked about on the last show that Hugh's pretty transparent, man. And when he says something, your ears do perk up. Now, I think you and I both downplayed it a little bit because he mentioned pass rusher and cover guy, and those are premium spots, right? So anybody would take one. But maybe I should put in, like, when Hugh just whatever he rambles and says, you know what I mean, and accidentally puts his game plan out there, you should probably just listen to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's see. The only other addition so far, Malachi Harris, which I thought there were some undertones here. Malachi Harris, transfer from Austin Peay.
Yes.
He's going to be a preferred walk-on, but he is the older brother of Hezekiah Harris, who is the Auburn 2026 commitment. He's an edge outside linebacker commitment from Mae Jemison in Huntsville.
Yes.
So Auburn,
little 3D chess move right there.
There you go.
If you wondered, and I'll be honest, I questioned a little bit.
I told somebody this today, Cole. I know what you're going to say.
Yeah. I mean, because there's so many edges in this class, and you're going, now how serious is Auburn about holding on to Hezekiah Harris? Because he's getting some play from Florida. He's getting a lot of play from Tennessee.
Yeah.
That tells you right there they don't want to let go of Hezekiah Harris. That's a big deal.
Yep. When you take that, that's very tea reading worthy.
Oh yeah. You got to read the tea leaves.
A couple of visits that are set right now. We talked about Carlos Moore, the offensive tackle from Elon, and I think he's got 3 years of eligibility left. He's a young cat. I think he started 10 games last year for Elon. I think 6 in left and 4 at right, something like that.
Is it 3 or is it 2? I can't remember with him.
I think he's got 2.
Oh, really?
Was he wasn't a COVID year guy, right?
I don't think so. I don't think, and I mean, look, with the way the NCAA is right now and the various court cases, they're going to determine what eligibility is. Or
2 years, Cole. 2 years. You're right. Started 10 games last season for Elon. He started 6 games at left tackle for it, right?
Yeah.
He signed in 2022. So you're right. 2 years.
Knows? Yeah, who knows? This kid may have 10 years worth of eligibility before it's all said and done with the course.
Now, Jeffrey, you could read what
Here we
Zach
go.
said. Or Zach can pop in if you're,
Let's see where. Oh, here it is in Coles. Okay. Okay, here Zach McKinnell on Elon transfer OT Carlos Moore, who's visiting Auburn presumably Friday. I think that was the date thrown out there. Maybe Cole, you threw that out there. Has the size and physical tools to be an interesting developmental piece. Auburn doesn't need him right away. They need which is perfect for what Zach's talking about. But extremely experienced and raw as a prospect. He took a big step forward this year at Elon, grading out higher each week and finishing the season with some of his better performances. In 604 total snaps, he only allowed 2 sacks, 19 quarterback pressures. Zach wouldn't expect him to see any playing time in 2025, but it's always better to have someone who is Division I experience as a depth piece in case of injuries rather than a true freshman with 0 experience. Plus, he's there if you need him.
See, I love Zach, even though you are an FCS guru. You do temper your expectations when an FCS guy transfers up to the SEC, whereas, not going, hey, this guy's a starter for sure.
Right. He didn't put any rosebuds on it.
And credit to Zach on this, because I did get some feedback on this guy a little bit. And according to my intel, he is somebody they think is a strong developmental piece to work in behind probably your presumed starters, who we know to be, Xavier Chaplin,
Mason
Jeremiah
Murphy.
Wright,
A potential starter next year, 2026 maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, does that mean he won't play if Auburn were to get him this year? No. It just means I don't think you're slotting. This is probably not a plug and play guy right now. It's a preparation. Look, because they're losing everybody, especially like we've talked about. If Xavier Chaplin has a huge year, you lose the entire starting offensive line.
Sure.
Besides Connor Lew, you get him back, but you got to have a plan. And are these underclassmen going to be totally ready? Or do you want to go try to get a guy who's played and has some experience?
Yeah. No, I agree with you, because you've got underclassmen with some game experience. You've got TJ Johnson and Connor Lew, and that's really all you've got. You lost Braden Joyner this past offseason to Purdue in the transfer by way of the transfer portal. So having somebody, again, that's been groomed in your system that has shown the ability to be a swing tackle. So maybe he's not a starter next year, but he could be a key piece for you as a rotational piece and a guy that's first man off the bench at one of your tackle positions. And that saves you thousands upon thousands of dollars to be able to have that piece already on your roster. And now maybe you're only hunting 1 tackle as opposed to 2. So it's a really good move.
You know what, too? I don't care what the corner says, man. It is refreshing to sit here and talk about the plan for the offensive line. There's a plan and it's laid out and you can see it. I do. A lot of people maybe don't, but that is the perfect – if you're able to get this guy, and right now, he's visiting Auburn. That was pretty quick. That's usually a good sign.
No other visits
that we know – right. No other visits that we know of. Looks pretty good. Auburn's track record is nice right now with these guys that visit from the transfer portal. I see the plan. I mean, do y'all see it? I see a very well thought out plan at offensive line.
Methodical.
Right. And how many times have we said that in recent years? If nothing else, whether it's the talent you want to get, like everybody wants the 5 stars, everybody wants the big names, but look, sure. But, I know how eval is on O-line. I know firsthand. So I love it. Right now, I'm really happy with the way that they're doing that.
No, they are building layered depth. And we've talked about this. Look, we started this podcast 3 years ago, and we talked about Will Friend trying to build layered depth. Because you had, 10 guards on the roster and like 2 true tackles, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
And to see what they've been able to do in this room, and has it been blue chip talent all the way down? No. But I also push back against that theory. I think offensive line is the most developmental position on the football field, period. And it's extremely hard to judge, what some of these guys are going to project to be. I mean, I would not want to be a talent evaluator putting a stamp grade on these guys, because I think if you look at the recruiting rankings and compare that to the NFL draft on offensive line alone, right? Like, I think most of the time The recruiting guys are phenomenal at being able to peg who the upper echelon talent is. Offensive line is a crapshoot, man. Like you see top end tackles in the draft year after year that were 3-star guys that blossomed because they went into the right situation and were developed the right way.
Teaching.
Yeah. And I mean, they get some right. They definitely get some of the 5 stars and the blue chips right. But I mean, if it was that good, like if it was that solid, there's not a world where Alabama would ever be going to the portal for an offensive lineman the way they've recruited. And they are.
Or Georgia.
And they are. Explain that.
Quarterbacks too.
Yes. Look, quarterbacks extreme. Think about that 2023 class that Jackson Arnold was in. Every one out of the top 10, with the exception of Arch Manning, has all transferred schools, right? Every one of them. I can pull that up, dude.
90%.
When I saw that the other day, my eyes were like, oh, this is where we are now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The last guy potentially visit, Emmanuel Carnley from Miami. He's another cornerback. With the, that news of him visiting came out early Wednesday, which RaySean Pleasant committed later that day. And I just wonder if Auburn didn't put the squeeze on Pleasant. I'll be curious to see if Carnley actually makes it in this weekend.
Yeah.
I agree. Because they lost 2 corners, okay, because you lost the kid that committed to Dale at Georgia State.
Tyler
Scott. And then you lost
JC at Utah.
JC that went to Utah. So you lost 2 guys out of that room. Would you take 2? Do you need 2? I don't know. I think 1 probably gets it done. But the kid's talented. He transferred, I think, from Arizona this past offseason to Miami. Got squeezed out of that room because I think Miami brought in a ton of guys, and then they've also had a really talented high school group. And so I think he felt pressure to make a move elsewhere. But with Auburn kind of filling a need, again, now you've got 2 young guys in Blake Woodby and Donovan Starr in that room. You brought in a transfer in RaySean Strader, who you're pairing with Pleasant, more or less, is kind of layer depth moving into the following year. And then, you had a freshman All-American starting for you this past season, or a freshman All-SEC player, and then K and Lee.
So Carnley is the one who has 3.
Yes.
Carnley redshirted to Arizona and played 1 season at Arizona, transferred to Miami in December, and then he's out. So he's got 3 to play. So now you're replacing a guy like J.C. Hart. So he's not a guy who's coming in expecting to be in the 2 deep. So I'll be curious if they bring him in, which with him having 3 years of eligibility, I'm teetering back to maybe they will. If they can, maybe they'll add him.
That's what I was going to say. If they can, I think they would, because they've got the space to do it. My question is where is the kid at with it? Does he want to walk into that room?
We know how they've, these backfills that they've had. Like, they're going to get the 85. They seem to not want to leave a spot open, and they're pretty strategic about it. The last year, they went and got Jaquez Robinson and Finaje Gote to fill it out. This would be better than that.
Mr. Irrelevance.
Yes, this is different. This is a guy that they think can play, and they're getting to the point now where they're getting the 85, where they're going, all right, these 85 are we really like these, instead of, this is a depth piece. We need this here just in case. This is where you're getting to now with the way they're filling out the roster.
And believe it or not, I heard Robinson's name this spring as somebody that, that reasonably impressed.
Yeah.
I had never heard Gote's name, not once, but
I know.
I forgot about that guy.
Yeah.
I saw him at Pro Day.
There you go.
Got to admire and respect his
desire to suit it up. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to high school recruiting. We've had a couple of questions posted in Alan's thread on Tuesday. I want to go through a couple of these. High school football scout. If signing day were today, fellas, who would you think would be the edge signees?
Ooh.
Hezekiah Harris?
Yes.
Yes. Today I do.
Trenton Henderson?
Yes.
I think they want him to be.
That's the first one that comes to mind.
But you got to let's say 3. Let's give them the 3. The 3 most likely as of today.
Okay. Yes.
I would say Hezekiah.
Yes.
I would say Trent Henderson.
Yes. And then who do you swing on? Do you go to Andrew Harris? Would you say him?
Yes,
Maybe.
but I mean, I know they love him, but I'm just not
He
feeling
hasn't
it.
visited.
What about Jamarion Matthews?
Possible.
Flipping the Bama commit who came to Big Cat, who didn't want to talk.
Not off the table. Anybody for Tank Jones?
That's where I told somebody.
I told somebody today I've got it about 60-40 Bama right now. And listen, it was probably 80-20 Bama a month ago in my eyes. I'm up to at least 60-40 Bama right now. I think Auburn's moving up. I think Big Cat was big.
Let me throw one out there. And maybe we can revisit this moment right here as, hey, whoa, nice. I have heard some buzz lately about Jordan Carter.
That would be big.
I don't think Auburn's out of it with Jordan Carter, who is a Texas A&M commit. He is from Douglasville, Georgia, Douglas County.
Oh, yeah.
They were hot and heavy with him at one point.
That's
I think,
right.
You know, this was with Josh Aldridge. I think things are a little different now with Rock Bellantoni. I think he's interested. I've heard some buzz about him maybe coming back for an official visit, another visit, and you know, we'll see. I'm kind of grasping at straws here because I don't know if I can get 3 right now, but I'm throwing that one out there for.
Would you consider Bryce Perry Wright an edge?
I don't think Auburn does.
Okay.
I think they consider him a strong side end.
Okay.
5 technique.
A couple of names I'm looking at: Jamarion Matthews, Kevin Ford is the guy I think is visiting Auburn. Jordan Carter.
Yeah, Ford's interesting.
Andrew Harris, Anthony Tank Jones. I think those are the main ones.
Yeah, I'm not giving up on the Harris twins yet, but I cannot project them in the.
I'm done with them, and until they show up, I'm done with them. Strike 3 and you're out, big dog.
I'm with you. I mean, it just see it to believe it, right?
I think there's a girlfriend of one of the two at South Carolina. I think South Carolina. I've been getting a guy from Bill Belichick, getting a guy away from Bill Belichick in North Carolina. I think it's going to be tough, but I think South Carolina is the presumed team to beat. I
think South Carolina and NC State. I've dug around on that. I've looked at at other people's reporting. I've asked people that I know, and the two names I get back are NC State and South Carolina. I don't hear a thing about North Carolina with either of those two.
Am I crazy? Again, I have to ask this again. Am I crazy for thinking that maybe Bill Belichick will not be a home run recruiter?
No, you're not.
Ooh.
His girlfriend might be the
except for those big ass feet she's got.
Please.
I didn't know she had feet.
I'm sorry, I can't think about Bill Belichick without thinking about this crazy thing going on with his girlfriend. Like, what is this? What's going on here?
He looks like a beta, don't he?
With his puffer jacket on. Look, Bill Belichick, greatest professional coach maybe ever, right? And probably, he's got more championships than anybody, and I would say he's probably the GOAT. But in college football, that gives me Brian Harsin vibes big time.
Okay, so I'm not crazy. Crazy.
The way he kind of handles the media, it's just such a different game. And I'm not putting it beyond Bill Belichick to be able to come into the college game and obviously do well at North Carolina. I don't know, man. But I'll tell you what, it would be big for Hugh Freeze to stuff Bill Belichick in the locker for Travis Burgess. I'll tell you that.
Well, that's going to look good for now until he proves that he's not a good recruiter, because the perception is that he is going to be a strong recruiter, right? So if you're beating North Carolina right now, it looks good on you.
Right.
All right, let's go to what happened.
It's like that you brought up the screen.
Yeah.
I was the screen like that. That's crazy.
I grabbed the corner and pulled it in.
Didn't I tell you, Alan? Jeffrey's the technical guy, man.
Yeah,
he is, man. He's the tech wizard of the group.
Dark horse _WDE percentage wise, fellas, on wide receivers. Auburn landing. What do you got? Auburn's chances at right now with Tristan Keys, with Cedaria Morgan, with Jace Matthews. I think all 5 stars, if I'm not mistaken, or will be.
Yes.
I'm slipping pretty hard on Morgan. I'll be honest.
I hear you.
As you should.
I like Matthews out of those 3 the most, for sure.
I'd go to 50% on Matthews right now.
Okay.
Do you see A&M as the biggest threat there?
Probably. Because it's Ole Miss, Auburn, A&M, and Florida, right? Those are the presumed 4.
Yeah, I think
with
so.
Ole Miss somewhere in there.
I think so.
Probably A&M. I'm a little cautious of Florida if I've got everything right. I think he's taking an OV there. Colorado is also involved to some degree. And while Dion doesn't scare me on a pound for pound recruit, he's as good as anybody on somebody that he sets his sights on, right? I mean, he's done the smash and grab before. So
yeah,
that one will be interesting. Probably A&M, but I would go to 50% for Auburn for Jace Matthews.
Yeah.
Put me at sub 30 for the other 2.
I concur.
Are y'all lower on Auburn's chances with Keys or Morgan right now?
I'm Keys. I would rate likelihood of Jace Matthews at 50, Morgan at like 30, and Keys at 25.
I think that's fair because of the way Hugh is recruited in state. I think the relationship that Marcus has with the kid, it's going to be higher for Cedaria. There's a lot of Alabama influence around him that's been well written about at this point. I think if Alabama were to go off the rails, if this thing goes to like 8-4, 7-5, and you've got people losing their mind, okay, then I can see Cedaria Morgan ending up at Auburn if Auburn were to have a 8-4, 9-3 type year. But it would take that kind of seismic shift, I think, of on the field product for Auburn to really land him to swing the percentages.
Nola Tiger with a great day. Could you please make a point to explain why kids who are out of eligibility are entering the portal? What it would take for them to gain an extra year of eligibility, and what the timeline for that would look like, and luring benchmarks such as deadline to withdraw from the draft, deadline to be enrolled in classes. What in the hell? You can read that. God bless America, Nola. Great day in the morning. You ate some gummies, didn't you?
Nola, he'll throw one out there now if you don't watch him.
Alan, it's all you, big dog.
Sure. So this is realistically what you have, and I think this question is geared towards basketball more than football right now. Given where we are in the calendar, but what you have are a lot of kids that have their eligibility has expired, and there have been rumors that there is a close court case decision with both the House case and a case that's being adjudicated in the state of New Jersey, where the potential rules for eligibility are being challenged. And it could, contingent on the way that the judge leans, and if he issues an injunction, force the NCAA to suspend present eligibility standards. And or the NCAA could change their standard as opposed to 5 to play 4 to a 5 to play 5. And I think that is included in the House settlement as far as expanding that window. So a lot of guys have put their name into the portal in the off chance that there's a determination that's made and they have an opportunity to make money again one more time, because a lot of these guys that have put their name into the portal with their expiring eligibility are kids that don't have a real shot at playing in the NBA. But damn, if they wouldn't make your college basketball roster a little bit better, and they would have an opportunity to make some serious money. So they're doing it on a low percentage shot that they get a ruling in their favor. I don't put a lot of stock in it. I don't think Auburn does either, if I'm being honest. They're going to have to see it to believe it, but we'll see. I mean, stranger things have happened in the courts to go against the grain of what the NCAA would wish for them to do.
There you have it, Nola. All right, NJ13. How many out of the top 10 in Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia? I think we looked over. I'll just pull them up. Since we're already sharing this window, I'm going to go straight to, where is that window? We're going to go to, let's go Alabama. Start with Alabama. I know Hezekiah is ranked in the top 10.
Yep.
Boom. Okay, I'm going to build this out a little bit. Tank Jones, C.D. Morgan, Xavier Crowell, Landon Duckworth, Zion Gibson. Do you think Auburn lands any of those 5?
If any, Tank, but I wouldn't put the percentages high on that just yet.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't project anybody right now from that
Yeah.
5.
I completely agree.
That doesn't mean they won't get anybody, but
sure,
it's hard to project right now.
Jacquez, we'll even go to 11 since Toodle's in there. Jacquez Wilkes, Hezekiah, Votney, Marquez Daniel, Keon Chapman, Shadarius Toodle's at 11. I think Auburn could get damn near every one of those kids if they want them.
Yeah, I like that half better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the bottom half. Yeah.
You and me both. And I don't know where they are on Chapman. You guys know that better than I do.
I don't think I think he's just a dude right now, right?
He came in for A-Day. I talked to him. Yeah, I think he's a little bit lower than some other receivers.
All right, let's see. Who was Nolan Wilson, right? He's the top 10 in Mississippi. Let's go to him.
Yep.
Tristan Keys, we talked about him. Womack, Nolan Wilson, Jace Matthews. A lot of good guys here. Xavier McDonald. How many of those guys do you see Auburn? I think Auburn will have the hat on the table for Keys, Womack, Wilson, Matthews, maybe even McDonald.
I'll go 2 on that one.
Yeah, I like Womack and Matthews there.
Yes, me too.
Yates, McCoy. I'm not really familiar with the rest of these guys. Preston Ashley. There you go. Number 11.
I think
Corey Wells.
Yeah.
Okay. Has he been to Auburn?
No, but he's scheduled an OV to Auburn. A lot of communication with Vontrell King Williams. They really like him, and vice versa, from what I understand.
Preston Ashley's that recruitment's going to be interesting to me. I just don't know how hard Auburn's going to push on that.
You had he's talking about. I guess Dalton Toothman wouldn't count.
No, but he's Mississippi.
Yeah.
Georgia, Tyler Atkinson, Jordan Edmonds, Xavier Griffin, Caden Prothrow, Aaron Gregory.
Maybe 1.
I like Prothrow. I think.
I do too. I'll say this. Get out of that.
I'll say this about Prothrow. As of right now, I don't think it's Georgia.
You guys know far more than me. Let's say that. Put that on the record. You guys know significantly better than me.
How about this? I bet if it was Georgia or the field for Tyler Atkinson right now, I would take the field.
I've heard similar things, Jeffrey.
And I don't think it's Auburn. Let me put it that way. I don't think it's Auburn right now.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I damn sure don't think it's Georgia.
Now, that's interesting.
I'm trying to think. I know how Ohio State is bringing out the checkbook, son. So Ohio State with Braylon Womack, keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on Ohio State for Tyler Atkinson.
Yeah.
Ohio State's, they've got the money.
They do. They 100% do.
That's your national champion right there. So if they are throwing the money at some of these guys that Auburn's got a great chance with, should tell you where the eval is on that.
And think about the money they used in the transfer portal last year and how the return on investment they got out of those guys.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's see. We got some familiar names. Bryce Perry Wright. I know somebody asked about him in that thread too. He took a visit to Texas. I haven't really heard much from him lately. Cole, anybody? Have y'all heard anything on Bryce Perry Wright?
I think things have cooled a little bit there with him and Auburn. I think part of it is because of his size. And a few schools, like I don't think he ends up at Georgia. Right now, I'm looking at Clemson with him. I think
okay. I think that's fair.
I agree with that one. And I think that's what I said on our show last time is Clemson was Auburn's probably biggest opposition. And I would favor Clemson at this point.
Okay. Let's see. I think last question. Let me go back. Because I didn't see anybody else on there. Deuce Geralds, I think, was another name we'd heard early in the cycle, but he's kind of haven't heard much from him either. So maybe 2 or 3. I think Alabama, we think maybe 4 or 5 of that second half, maybe 6 through 11. We like a lot of Auburn there. Mississippi, we like 2 or 3 guys there in the top 10. Georgia, we like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, this is a long season, right? Narratives change.
Oh, yeah.
And if Auburn comes out.
Go ahead, Alan. I'm sorry.
No, if Auburn comes out and plays winning football and they play up to their talent ceiling, then a lot of this is going to change. Like you're going to get some head turns. And I'm not talking about just because of product on the field. I think the NIL support will be behind Auburn if Auburn's got a winning product on the field and they're looking good doing it. So you'll have a lot working in their favor. But this is just as of today. It is what it is. And I don't think you're in a bad position with a lot of these guys that you're outside looking in for right now either.
Let's see.
It always changes. It always
2019
changes.
BCS. I'm sorry. This is a little pessimistic here. Why have we not set ourselves up for success at running back the past 3 classes? This comes just 2 months after signing freaking Alvin Henderson.
Sure. And a
freaking
kid
Darrell Robinson.
And a kid from Auburn High.
Omar Mabson.
I know what he's asking. I know what he's asking.
Okay, get to it, big dog.
So what I just said with the offensive line, like we see the plan, right? I'm not saying there's not a plan at running back, but it's a little bit harder to see for me.
I hear you.
Just for me. I'm just trying to, just because. I like Damari Alston. I like Jeremiah Cobb. I like Alvin Henderson. I like Darrell Robinson.
Omar Mabson.
But again, Auburn is so used to having the guy, and none of those guys scream. Yeah, you don't know about Alvin yet. He could be that guy. But it's so by committee. I think you almost have to, if you're an Auburn fan, you have to really sit down and go, hey, you know what? I think that's receiver now, where there's just a stud guy.
Yeah.
I think that is what this staff, that's what Hugh Freeze is about.
Mm-hmm.
You just heard him say so many times, I need 3 classes. I got to get it right. And he's now starting to get the roster the way he likes it. And it's a running back by committee. And I don't see that as a coincidence. I see that as strategy.
Sure. Well, and I'll take his question a step further. This is a recruiting show. I don't see the plan at running back in this class right now either. When you talk about the top 3 targets, Jalen Moore, I think he's probably number 1.
Yeah.
Derek Cooper.
Field.
Yeah. And then the young man that's in state.
Crowell.
Yeah.
And I don't see Auburn landing any of those 3. And they're the only 3 that are officially visiting. And so that makes it pretty easy for us to determine who their top 3 running backs are, right? Like, even if you didn't tell me anything and I looked at their OV list and said, okay, well, that's who their top guys are.
Right.
So that means they're going to have to eval another back in this class and hope that they, and I'm not saying a guy doesn't emerge. They do every year. But you got to be quick with your offers if that's the way it's going to play, and figure out somebody that's transcending their current ranking right now. So I get maybe some of the frustration on that front. I do think Derek's a good football coach. I think he's a good running backs coach, but we'll see, man. I mean, I understand kind of where they're coming from on this.
Okay.
I do too. Yeah.
Did Auburn sign a running back?
Not Kevin.
4 class?
Carnell's last year, no, because remember they had Fat committed, and then they cut Burnett.
That's right.
He landed at Houston, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
And they didn't really have a backup plan after they cut him.
They had Batee at the time.
They did.
He was, he looked pretty promising. He had some good games.
Oh yeah.
So they were banking on that, and of course, that situation happened. So
yeah, I mean, you couldn't foresee that happening.
No, that's not anything you control. But I'm with you, Alan. I kind of understand the sentiment, but I really do think you're going to have to, as an Auburn fan, sort of rework your brain a little bit, because I think the days of the stud Auburn workhorse running back, I'm not saying they're over, but the emphasis on it might be different.
The priority.
Order of priority. I mean, you don't have to question where the priority is on the offensive side of the ball.
No, you see it. It's reflected within the recruiting rankings, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
God, they just keep talking about stacking talent. God,
they are, man. They are. I mean, they only have 7 guys in the room right now.
Wow.
They're adding Derek Smith. He'll be 8. Eric Smith as well.
Yep.
Would be 9. So, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked at all to go see them get another guy from the portal. They may not, but the question is, a couple people on the corner.
Lost Dylan Gentry, big dog.
Lost Dylan Gentry to Jacksonville State for Charles Kelly there.
He heard me wanting to get him on the show. He said, "I'm out, big dog."
He did.
Hey, look, that says a lot about Dylan Gentry because Charles Kelly saw him at practice and said, I'll take him.
Yeah, damn right. He saw him every day going up against his defensive backs and said, that kid can play for me.
He sure did.
Absolutely. Got him a Scully over there. So good for him. No, I wouldn't be surprised. People were going, look, man, receiver stacked. Sure. But what if a guy gets hurt?
Yes.
Then where are you at? You get a little concerned then. A little thin.
Functional depth, right?
Yeah.
Got to have functional depth. And I think most rosters, like if you look comparatively at Auburn's peers, they're carrying somewhere between 10 and 12.
Well,
Auburn is sub the minimum number against some of their other rivals within the conference.
Quality over quantity.
Definitely
That's what she said.
Hey! Oh, let's see. How about yous?
Yeah.
I have shirked. Oh,
Look at that one. I've been waiting for you to bring that out. This is what Jeffrey Lee was doing while me and Cole were struggling through a podcast. He was out here living his best life.
I was in Eastern Washington State in the Valley, and we had heard it was turkey hunt is heaven, and they were damn right, dude. We slaughtered them. We had a great week. Me and old Barnes hard, Cole. I had a double.
Oh, yeah?
It was freaking unbelievable. There were 6 gobblers. We were down in this valley right here, and up in those trees, there was just 6 gobblers. And then they come off the roost and come right down there, and it was a great morning.
There you go.
Great morning. Does that mean I get to have bauchi?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You were on my list.
Hey, times 2, big dog.
Watch himself. That's the first. I hadn't seen that.
Hey, look, man. Only Jeffrey Lee can go on vacation and then how about himself when he gets back?
And I'm gonna. How about you? The barn is hard too, man.
There
And you
you
know
go.
what? Those were my first 3 turkeys.
Get out of here.
I'm serious, and they were colored. It looked like, yeah. I'm just now learning all about this turkey stuff. My second year doing this, but I had like a Merriam, a Rio, and an Eastern, and that's 3 of the 4. Now they won't give me credit for it because there's a bunch of hybrid turkey up there, but they look like it. So anyways, I'm going with Jeffrey Lee times 2. How about you? Baby, I made it. So look, I'm gonna have a turkey fan right here on my wall, in this blank space. Then I'm gonna have another one over here. Where's it? Right here. Anyways. And Barnes Hard, how about you, Big Dog?
Okay.
Nice.
So for me, Jeffrey Lee. Phone had him a week.
Times 2 on that.
Yeah. MLC for her comment about me tempering expectation last night.
Yeah, that was good.
MLC's a good one.
And then AU Tigers 07.
Oh, where's he been?
One of my faves. He snuck into a thread not too long ago. It was good to see him posting again. He's always got great stuff.
Absolutely. He's top 5 for me.
Oh, yeah.
Cole Pinkston.
Sure. I have a couple. Let's see. Jaylee's Pinkhead. For sure.
Oh, times 2. Times 2 for me on that one, please.
Yeah, he got it's one of those cheap ones. Got me. You know,
he knows how to do it, Big Dog. He knows how to get them hibachis.
I'm not calling your joke cheap, Jaylee's Pinkhead. What I mean is it was very quick-witted that most people wouldn't find funny, and I do. I think it's hilarious. Where I put up the thread, hey, I think somebody's about to arrive, a new transfer visitor. I will let you know as soon as I see him. And right when I posted it, he timed it. He said, I think it's Caleb Wheatland. He put it right as I posted. It's like, everybody goes, whoa, how'd you know that? It was perfect.
See,
so, yeah.
No, I'm shocked here because Jeffrey never misses an opportunity when he hears hilarious. Nick Cannon is hilarious.
He's hilarious.
To slide that one in.
Nick Cannon, I saw that clip the other day too, man.
Did you really?
Yeah, I had to watch it again. I had to watch all more Chappelle clips.
Oh, Chappelle. Good stuff. Also, SJ Gym. It's gym like a basketball gym.
Mm-hmm.
SJ
Gym. Yep, all one word. Man, really, really interesting conversation I had with him. continuing conversation I'm having with him. Very cool. Maybe I'll share it with you one day.
Okay.
Yep. Pretty
Fair
cool. So
enough.
he's an interesting fella. Let me just put it that way. And then Fat Crack. Pretty cool name, but
Absolutely.
he's got a fishing charter in Boca Grande, Florida, and I think it's awesome. So
Okay. An immediate friend of the show.
Yes.
Immediate friend of the show. Fat Crack times 2, big dog.
oh yeah, check your DMs if you haven't yet, both of y'all.
Oh,
Okay.
for real?
You might have one from Fat Crack.
Okay, Fat Crack. That's
Yeah.
what she said. Hey!
Hey.
So those three for me.
Okay. Jeffrey Lee times 2, baby. Barnes Hard phone times 2. MLC AU Tigers 07. J Lee's Pinkhead times 2. I'm going to make you earn a trifecta next time, big dog. SJ Jim, as in basketball. And Fat Crack times 2.
There we go.
I like it. Way to get back in the groove, fellas. We're going to continue monitoring that transfer portal. We're going to see if any more visitors are added to the list besides Emmanuel Carnley and Carlos Moore this weekend. We'll keep you locked in at Auburn Live on 3. If you're not a member, go check us out. There's use the promo code FRIEND to get 50% off an annual subscription. And don't forget about that Roback, big dog. Use the promo code Auburn20 on Roback.com for a generous 20% off for all new customers. That's spelled RHOBACK.com. 20% off all performance polos, shorts, and more with the code Auburn20. All right, folks, that's going to do it, man. We're going to be back Sunday night for the call-in show. See you then. Get locked in. We appreciate everybody listening. We appreciate everybody watching. For Cole Pinkston, for Alan Head, for Zach in the back, I'm Jeffrey Lee, man. Y'all stay at that left lane. See ya.